Hello. Today I want to explore with you an age-old question. What is leadership? And also, what is power? And what's the relationship between the two? Because I believe the way we think about leadership is at the core of the problem as to why there are not enough or not many good leaders around today. Let's look at leadership first, taking a tour of history in terms of how we've looked at leadership. You know, there's of course the great man theory that leaders are born, not made. And many people still believe that leaders are born and not made. So it's all about genetics. There's the trait theory. Leadership is about having certain traits like charisma and a certain personality type. And therefore, what used to be a cottage industry, psychometric personality testing, has now become a major industry. Then there's the behavior theory. Leadership is about past competencies. Successful past behavior is the best predictor of future success. Therefore, role plays, case studies, and feedback are the best way to learn leadership. Then we have the contingency or situational theories, which is leadership style must be varied according to the situation. And then we train people on situational leadership or transactional theory. People are motivated by reward and punishment and need a commander to tell them what to do. So it's all about reward and punishment. And finally, transformation theory. The way things get done is to inject enthusiasm. Things are broken around here, let's fix them, and let's go, guys. So those are the most common leadership theories available, and millions of books are available depending on what you want with a mix of some of these theories. So there's no shortage of information, there's no shortage of literature on what is leadership and how leadership can be developed, and yet we know that the picture of good leadership is not great. Talking again about social power, where does power come from? Well, of course, the most commonly used power is position power. You're a manager, you're a director, you're a chief executive officer, you're a head of family, or you're a commander. Your position commands power. Second is access control power. Gatekeepers, executive assistants, chief operating officers. Think about knowledge power. I have knowledge that you need, and therefore I have power over you. Not only do I have knowledge, I also have skills that you need, so therefore I have skills power. Then there's obligation power. You're obligated to me in some way, and therefore I have power over you. Trust power. You respect me and you trust me, so I have power over you. And finally, veto powers. Only I can ultimately decide. So again, like leadership, lots of literature, lots of information available on power. Yet, something is not right, is it? Because when we ask the question, how many bosses in your career were truly great leaders, the average answer is 0, 1, or maximum 2. When we ask the question, how much is spent on leadership development around the world each year, the answer is a staggering $80 billion. When we ask a question on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is way below potential and 10 is at peak potential, how is your organization performing? The answer is 6.5. Meaning that captains of industry are themselves admitting that they can be 35% more successful with a little bit better leadership. How many organization structures are based on position power? 100%. So despite all the logic, despite all the literature, the picture is not great. So what is leadership and what is power if it's not any of those things? To answer those questions, all we need to do is take a look at these leaders on the screen. Some are social leaders, some are business leaders. What's common between all these people? Well, one look at them and you know what's common between them is a burning desire to create a better future. They were not about exercising their position power. Some of them, like Gandhi or Mandela, didn't have any position power. They were about creating a better future for the people around them. And that burning desire was the source of their power. So leadership is the art of creating a better future. It's not about being born, it's not about competency models, it's certainly not about situations and things like that. It is about creating a better future. You become a leader when you close your eyes and imagine a better future, and then decide that you want to spend the rest of your life creating it. Problem: the moment you say you want to create a better future, you're going to face with a huge amount of resistance, because 1,000 people will tell you in a million ways why you will fail. And if you persist, you're going to get resistance, resistance, and resistance. what are you going to need? What's the main ingredient of leadership now that you know that your common companion, since the time you decide, is going to be resistance? Well, you're going to need a huge amount of emotional, intrinsic, and almost spiritual energy to not give up. So the key ingredient is leadership. Leadership is the art of harnessing human energy towards the creation of a better future. Why energy? Because the difference between a leader and a non-leader is simply this: non-leaders give up in the face of resistance, whereas leaders find the energy to keep going. The million-dollar question now is that if leadership is all about energy, how do you find such energy? What are the sources of such energy in people? Well, to cut a long story short, there are only two sources of long-term intrinsic energy, long-lasting energy, which is not temporary. And those are clarity of purpose and clarity of values. Purpose, the results you want to create; values, the principles that will guide you when you are tested. Once you get clarity of purpose and clarity of values, you empower yourself with the kind of energy that leadership is made up of. So good luck to you on finding your purpose and your values. Thank you.